What is our fifth topic today?
Well, John, I can guess. Allan G says, hey, John and team. So I watched She-Hulk last night, and I really enjoyed it. The Jennifer character is fantastic, and I think the thing I loved most about it was just the conversations between her and Bruce. I noticed that every clip with Bruce in the trailers was in this first episode. Do you think that's all we're going to get of Hulk in this show, or do you think he'll turn up again? Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Alan. And yeah, sat down, watched She-Hulk last night. Now, I have been expecting a great half-hour legal comedy that takes place in the cinematic universe. That's kind of what I've been expecting. So I sat down and watched it last night, and I was surprised in two ways. In one way, I was surprised how much I liked the show. I was surprised how much I like everything about Bruce and getting, and, you know, we're going to, by the way, we have, I don't know if you have the graphic there for Jonathan or not, but a little bit later today at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today, Rob and I are going to do our open She-Hulk after show, open spoiler discussion, 3 p.m. Make sure you guys come back and join us for that. So we're going to talk in some very non-spoilery ways here. But a lot of the stuff about Bruce I thought was great and riveting. The way they told the story, the way they set up the origin, all that kind of stuff. I found myself just purely really enjoying the show. Like really enjoying the show. The second surprise, though, to me, was that I did not find it nearly as funny as I thought I would. And, you know, producer Jonathan brought up a really good point. When I was mentioning that to Jonathan this morning, it's like I really liked it. Like, I thought it was better than I thought it would be. But I was going in there getting ready for a lot of laughs, and it didn't really deliver that. And Jonathan asked me a great question. He said, well, now, did it not deliver laughs because the jokes didn't work, or did it not deliver laughs because there weren't as many jokes as you thought? I said, it's the second one. They didn't go for a lot of the big laughs. There was only like 3 or 4 points in the show I felt like they went for the big laughs, and they were effective. I was just expecting to laugh more. I really was. So whatever. I still really, really quite enjoyed the show. But I also, it was neat for me because our buddy Ryan came over. I sat down, I was watching, and Ann was beside me watching it. And the one scene that I thought my wife was going to die in was a scene that was in the trailers. When Hulk says the main triggering factors are fear and anxiety. And Jennifer's like, these are the base emotions of women. What are you talking about? I don't think Ann had seen that trailer because Ann lost her mind. She goes, it's so fucking true. Like, she's laughing. But there was one other thing. There's a moment in the episode, and we'll talk about it in the open spoiler. I'll say there's a moment in the episode where Jennifer is talking to Bruce, and she kind of opens her heart up a little bit and tells him about just experiences she's had and why she as a woman is angry a lot and has had to control her anger a lot. And I looked over at my wife, Ann. I looked over because I heard a sniff. And I looked over at my wife, Ann. She literally had tears in her eyes. And we'll go into what exactly Jennifer said in the open after show later. But I remember talking to Ann afterwards. She goes, that's my life. Which she talked about in that moment. That has been my life. And I think sometimes as a man, I forget that women sometimes have different experiences than we do. And apparently, I can't say this directly, but apparently it speaks directly to that. And so again, for me, not as funny as I was hoping it would be, but a better episode of television than I thought it was going to be. So I quite enjoyed it. Rob, in a non-spoilery way,
yeah.
I can do that.
I can do that.
Come on.
Totally
Put it up, Jonathan.
What did you think of the first episode of She-Hulk?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great first episode.
Possible. We need to make another one that says possible.
It was a great first episode. I really did enjoy it. I was actually surprised. I mean, this was not an inexpensive episode of TV.
Oh God, no.
Because, you know, people talked about, I thought the CGI was great on both Jennifer and the Hulk, and there was a lot of them in this episode. I would imagine we're going to see a lot less hulking out later as we move on in the series. I think that they also set up the fact that there's a question posed. Why is this particular thing?
Yep.
You know, and I think that will come into play. I do think that we'll see Hulk again answering the question, and that answer will lead elsewhere. But that's just speculation. But I mean, look at this. This was a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed this. But what I thought was great about this show was we got insight, so much insight into what it means to be a Hulk.
Yeah.
You know, with stuff that we haven't dealt with in the MCU. And I really felt something. Like this made Banner one of my favorite MCU characters, this episode of TV, because they haven't spent that much time, you know, when he said things in the past, like, I'm always angry, you know, that's the secret. Or when he was talking to Nat, you know, about being a monster. And that was great stuff. But there were moments. There were moments.
Yeah.
And this was really interesting. I was like, I'm like, this is fascinating stuff that I didn't expect to get. But like you, it was comedic. And we've seen the trailer shows you that it's going to be fun and it's not heavy.
Yeah, it's not heavy.
But it wasn't as jokey like you as I thought. I thought the humor worked. There wasn't anything where I was like, wah, wah, wah. You know, it was really well earned. And I thought it was, I thought it was a great hour or a great half hour, a great 38 minutes of television. I really enjoyed it. And I thought.
And by the way, post-credit scene was great. Post-credit was great.
My God. And pays off it's so good. And her delivery, and she's fantastic.
Yeah, Tatiana. There's a reason she's an award-winning actress.
You know, this was my first exposure to this actress, and I found her charming. Like she's great. I think my only problem with it, I really liked the episode. I wasn't expecting a lot of laughs, but my only problem with it now is, I don't know if that 30 minutes, no matter how good the episode is worth me staying up till 12. That's my only dilemma now. Yeah, I'm excited for the next episode for sure, but staying up for 30 minutes, no matter how good it is, that's my personal feeling on it.
We'll get up early and watch it in the morning.
Yeah, you got to watch it in the morning. Yeah. But this brings up another issue. By the way, they asked, do we think we're going to see Hulk again? I don't think we're going to see Banner again. Could be wrong about that.
I think we are, because the question's going to be answered.
But that might be a question that gets answered in another movie
or another
thing somewhere down. But here's the thing too. Like, we were talking about this before the show started. Yesterday, we talked about the news that Lord of the Rings of Power is going to launch with 2 episodes. And one of the things I said was, the reason I think that's great is because, especially with new shows, it takes more than the first episode to really get a feel for what this show is. And especially, like Ray, you're saying, especially being a 30-minute show, I really felt they should have done that with She-Hulk. After watching that first episode, I really feel like they should have launched with the first 2 episodes to give us a better sense of what the show really is. But listen, I thought the first episode, very strong start. Again, not as funny as I was hoping it would be, but it's a very strong start nonetheless. Then again, I thought, I thought Boba Fett was a very strong start too. But by the way, I thought Obi-Wan was a really strong start too. So this one had a strong start, but it would have been really nice to get the first couple of episodes to get a better feel for it, especially since the fact that it's 9 episodes, right? So they had a little bit of wiggle room there, I think.
Do you think it showed enough where people could already decide whether this show's for them or not? Do you think it showed enough of what it's giving? I thought it did. I'll
say this.
I thought it did.
I think if there are people, like any movie or TV show, I think there are people who are just really turned off by it and it didn't work for them at all. Probably. I think there are going to be a bunch of people that are going to feel like that was definitely enough for me to come back again next week, but the jury's still out a little bit. But it's enough for me to come back next week and see what they got. I don't know, Rob, what do you think about that?
Well, Elizabeth, I asked her that very question. She goes, because she's so superheroed out. She's so tired of all the, and she said to me after it was over, she goes, okay, I'll watch that.
Yes.
And she enjoyed it. And so I was like, okay, and I think that it was entertaining enough. And not only that, it was just interesting. There was Hulk world building going on that I thought was fascinating.
Hey guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this episode, Babbel. Now, as an Italian, did you guys know my real name is Giovanni? Anyway, as an Italian that doesn't actually speak a lot of Italian, I've always wanted to learn better Italian so I could converse with my Italian relatives. And that's where Babbel is a godsend. And for you guys, for all your summer travels, or whether you're going abroad or staying domestic and want to immerse yourself in the culture, now is the perfect time to start Babbel. Babbel is the language learning app that sold more than 10 million subscriptions. Thanks to Babbel's addictively fun and easy bite-sized language lessons, there's still time to learn a new language before you reach your destination. With Babbel, you only need 10 minutes to complete a lesson, so you can start having real-life conversations in a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Now, other language learning apps use AI
AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel lessons were created by over 150 language experts. With Babbel, you can choose from 14 different languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, and German, and others. Right now, you can save up to 60% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/Campea. That's babbel.com/Campea for up to 60% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life.